Amanda Eze was raised in a home where faith was the foundation of every decision. Her parents, Mr. and Mrs. Eze, were devout Christians who believed in living a life that honored God. From a young age, Amanda had been taught to hold on to her values no matter what temptations life might bring. She grew up immersed in good morals and developed a personality that was kind, gentle, and approachable. Her sweet melodious voice made her one of the most beloved choristers in their church, a role she carried out with dedication. Amanda was not only known for her beauty, but also for her humility. Though she could have drawn attention with her looks, she preferred to focus on her studies and serving God. She believed in living a life of purpose and often told her friends, "This world is only temporary. We must live with heaven in mind." Her parents were proud of her achievements and the values she upheld. Amanda, who was still in the university, had already begun to attract suitors. Men from her church and even outside her social circle expressed interest in marrying her, but she was firm in her resolve. "There is a time for everything," she would say. "I need to finish school first. Marriage can wait." Amanda shared a room with Marital, who was her complete opposite. While Amanda spent her time either in church or the library, Marital believed in living life to the fullest. Parties, outings, and social gatherings were her idea of fun, and she often tried to coax Amanda into joining her. "Amanda, you're young and beautiful," Marital said one evening as she got ready for a party. "You're wasting your youth sitting here. When you get married, you can be serious. For now, just live a little." Amanda looked up from her textbook and smiled. "Life isn't about living recklessly, Marital. It's about living purposefully. Rapture can happen at any time, and I want to be ready." Marital laughed, shaking her head. "You're too serious. I hope you don't bore your future husband with all this holiness." Amanda ignored the comment. She had tried preaching to Marital several times, but had come to accept that it was a seed only God could water. One sunny afternoon, Amanda and Marital were walking across campus, where a sharp-dressed man stopped them. His tailored suit, confident demeanor, immediately set him apart from the typical university crowd. He smiled at Amanda, his brown skin glistening under the sun. "Good afternoon, ladies," he said warmly. "My name is Collins." Marital nudged Amanda playfully, clearly intrigued by the stranger. Amanda, however, responded politely but cautiously. "Good afternoon," she said softly. Collins' eyes were fixed on her. "You're beautiful," he said. "What's your name?" "Amanda," she replied, her tone reserved. "Nice to meet you, Amanda," he said, extending his hand. "I'd like to get to know you better. Can I have your phone number so we can talk later?" Amanda shook her head. "I'm sorry, but I'm not interested." Marital's jaw dropped as Amanda turned and walked away, leaving Collins and her roommates behind. Marital caught up with her minutes later, visibly annoyed. "What's wrong with you, Amanda?" she demanded. "That man is a dream. Handsome, well-dressed, and clearly successful. How could you just walk away?" Amanda sighed. "I told you, Marital, I'm not interested in a relationship right now. My focus is on my studies and my faith." Marital rolled her eyes. "You are impossible." "Well, I gave him your number." Amanda stopped in her tracks, her face a mixture of shock and anger. "You did what?" "I gave him your number," Marital repeated nonchalantly. "Someone has to help you out of this shell." Amanda was too stunned to reply. By the time she collected her thoughts, Marital had already walked off, leaving her to wrestle with her emotions. The next day, Amanda phone buzzed with a call from an unfamiliar number. She hesitated but eventually answered. "Hello," she said cautiously. "Good morning," the voice on the other end said. It was deep, calm, and familiar. "This is Collins. I got your number from your friend Marital." Amanda immediately stiffened. "Please don't call this number again," she said curtly. "I'm not interested in anything you have to say." Without waiting for a response, she hung up. That evening, Amanda attended church as usual. The service was uplifting and she found solace in the hymns and the sermon. However, her peace was interrupted when the pastor announced a new member. "Let's welcome Brother Collins to our midst," the pastor Joseph said enthusiastically. Amanda's heart sank as she watched Collins walk to the front of the congregation. He greeted the church warmly, his charm on full display. Pastor Joseph encouraged the congregation to make him feel at home and assigned Amanda the task of mentoring him in Bible studies. She wanted to protest but didn't want to disobey her pastor. After the service, Pastor Joseph called her aside. "Sister Amanda, I believe you're the right person to guide Brother Collins. Be patient with him and show him the love of Christ." Amanda nodded reluctantly. When the pastor left, Collins approached her, a sly smile on his face. "I guess this means we'll be spending a lot of time together," he said. Amanda crossed her arms. "What are you doing here, Collins? Do you expect me to believe you just happened to join this church? I wanted to be a part of a community that shaped someone as incredible as you," he replied smoothly. Amanda wasn't convinced, but decided to focus on her duties. Collins' presence in Amanda's life became increasingly difficult to ignore. As part of her mentorship duties, she had to meet with him regularly for Bible studies. Though she maintained her professionalism, Collins always found a way to steer their conversations towards personal topics. "You're such a remarkable woman, Amanda," he said one evening after a session. "Your faith, your intelligence, your beauty, it's inspiring." Amanda shook her head, keeping her gaze on her Bible. "It's not about me, Collins. It's about God. Let's stay focused on the Word." But Collins was persistent. He began showing up at church events even when he wasn't expected, always finding an excuse to talk to Amanda. He offered to walk her home after evening service and occasionally surprised her with small gifts. A devotional book here, a bookmark there. His charm was undeniable, and Amanda began to see a different side of him. Still, she was cautious. "I'm not looking for a relationship, Collins," she reminded him one day. "And I respect that," he replied. "But can't we just be friends? I want to get to know you better, not just as my mentor, but as someone I admire." Over time, Amanda's walls began to crumble. Collins' efforts to integrate himself into her life were not without effect. He joined the church choir, attended prayer meeting, and even began leading a small group of Bible study. His transformation seemed genuine, and Amanda started to believe that perhaps God had brought him into her life for a reason. The interaction became more frequent, and Collins' gesture grew more thoughtful. One Sunday after service, he approached her with a small bouquet of flowers. "Just a token to say thank you for all your guidance," he said. Amanda hesitated but accepted the flowers. Marital, who has been watching from a distance, smirked. "Looks like someone finally softened up," she teased later one evening. "It's not like that," Amanda insisted. "Collins is just persistent." Marital laughed. "Persistent and charming. Don't fight it too much, Amanda. He seems like a good man." Amanda prayed about it, seeking God's guidance. She is still in doubt, but began to feel perhaps Collins' intentions were sincere. When Collins confessed his feelings, Amanda was firm in setting boundaries. "If we are going to pursue this relationship, you need to know that I am committed to remaining pure until marriage," she told him. "There will be no compromises." Collins nodded, his expression serious. "I respect that, Amanda. I admire your values, and I wouldn't want to do anything to jeopardize our future." Their courtship continued under the watchful eyes of Amanda's parents and church community. Collins made a point of visiting her parents, bringing gifts, and spending time with her parents. Mr. and Mrs. Eze were impressed by his dedication and began to warm up to him. Marital, of course, was thrilled. "Finally, I thought you'd never give anyone a chance," she said one evening. "Collins is a catch, Amanda. Don't let him slip away." After months of courtship, Collins proposed. The engagement was celebrated with joy by Amanda's family and friends. The wedding was a grand affair, attended by church members, relatives, and well-wishers. Amanda walked down the aisle with a heart full of hope, believing she was stepping into God's ordained union. On their wedding night, Amanda fulfilled her vow to remain pure until marriage. Collins seemed genuinely moved, praising her for her dedication to her faith and values. Their marriage was perfect. Collins continued to shower Amanda with love and attention, bringing her flowers, planning romantic dates, and joining her in prayer. Amanda felt blessed to have found a partner who shares her values. The honeymoon phase of Amanda and Collins' marriage was short-lived. At first, everything seemed perfect, but over time, subtle changes in his behavior began to emerge. He started skipping morning prayers, giving excuses about being late for work. He came home later and later, often claiming he had business meetings. The romantic dates became infrequent, and the thoughtful gestures stopped altogether. Amanda tried not to overthink it, chalking it up to the presence of work and adjusting to married life. Not long after their wedding, Collins began pressuring Amanda to have children. His tone, once loving, became demanding. "We need to start building a family," he said one evening over dinner. "I don't want to waste any more time." Amanda was taken aback. "You've only just gotten married, Collins. Let's give it some time. Children will come when God blesses us." Collins wouldn't relent. "Time isn't on my side, Amanda. I need an heir for my business. You need to get pregnant." His insistence grew with each passing day, and Amanda started to feel the strain. She confided in her mother, hoping for some guidance. "It's just nerves," her mother said dismissively. "He's probably feeling the pressure of being newly married. Give him time, my dear." Amanda nodded, but couldn't shake the feeling that something was wrong. Colin's behavior became increasingly strange. He started bringing home a group of friends who all dressed in an unusual manner. Their clothes were black and red, adorned with strange symbols. When Amanda asked about them, Collins brushed off her concerns. "They're just business partners," he said casually. "We've been working on some big deals together." Amanda's unease grew. These friends rarely spoke to her, and when they did, their words were curt and disinterested. They often held meetings late into the night, and Collins wouldn't allow her to enter the room while they were talking. She also noticed that Collins had stopped going to church altogether. Whenever Pastor Joseph asked about him, Amanda would make excuses. "He's been so busy with work," she would say. Though deep down, she knew there was more to it. One night, Amanda woke up at midnight to pray. She knelt by the bed, her Bible in hand, and she began to pour out her heart to God. Collins, who had been lying beside her, abruptly sat up. "Why are you making noise in the middle of the night?" he snapped. "Can't you see I'm trying to sleep?" Amanda looked at him stunned. "I'm praying, Collins. I need to talk to God." "Well, talk to him during the day," he barked. "If you don't stop this nonsense, I'll show you who's the boss in this house." Amanda felt a sting of fear, but tried to reason with him. "Collins, we need God in our lives. Prayer is important." He responded with a slap so sharp that it echoed in the room. "Don't ever challenge me again," he said coldly, leaving her stunned and tearful. As the months passed, Amanda still hadn't conceived. Collins grew more irritable with each passing day. He accused her of being barren, of ruining his plans for a family. One evening, he came home and announced that he had taken a second wife. Her name was Favor, and Collins wasted no time bringing her into their home. Amanda was devastated. She tried to reason with him, to remind him of their vows, but he was unmoved. "You had a whole year," he said bluntly. "If you can't give me children, someone else will." Favor was everything Amanda wasn't. She was loud, arrogant, and took pleasure in belittling Amanda. "You're nothing but a barren witch," she would sneer. "It's no wonder Collins married me. At least I can give him a child." Amanda turned to prayer, crying out to God for a miracle. She begged her parents for advice, but they urged her to stay in the marriage. "It won't last forever," her mother said. "Just endure. God will bless you in His time." Pastor Joseph also discouraged her from leaving. "Divorce is a sin, Amanda. Keep praying for your husband. God can change hearts." But the situation only worsened. Favor became pregnant within months, and Collins used it as an ammunition to torment Amanda further. "See how quickly Favor conceived?" he said one evening. "Maybe you're the problem. Who knows what sins you committed before we got married?" Amanda broke down in tears. "How can you say such things, Collins? I gave you my purity. I loved you with my whole heart," he scoffed. "For all I know, you faked it," he said before walking away. The stress became too much for Amanda. One night, after yet another argument, she collapsed. Collins rushed her to the hospital, where the doctors informed him that her blood pressure was dangerously high. "She needs rest," the doctor said. "If this continues, her condition could become critical." "Is she pregnant?" Collins asked. The doctor shook his head. "No, she's just severely stressed." Collins didn't bother to hide his disappointment. He called Amanda's parents and told them to take her home. "I need to focus on my wife, who is actually carrying my child," he said coldly. Amanda was heartbroken. How could the man she loved treat her with such cruelty? Her parents tried to comfort her, promising that things would get better, but Amanda was losing hope. Amanda returned to her parents' home, physically weak and emotionally drained. The once vibrant woman they had proudly raised now looked like a shadow of herself. Her mother, Mrs. Deze, couldn't hold back her tears as she helped Amanda settle in. "You've been through so much, my child," her mother said gently, "but you're home now. We'll take care of you." Her father, Mr. Eze, was more pragmatic. "You need to rest, Amanda. Focus on your health first. The rest will sort itself out." For the first few weeks, Amanda barely left her room. She spent most of her time praying, though her prayers were more like cries for understanding. "Lord, what have I done to deserve this? I followed your path, kept myself pure, and stayed faithful. Why have you allowed this to happen?" Her parents, seeing how fragile she was, encouraged her to find a distraction. "What would you like to do, Amanda?" her father asked one evening. "Perhaps there's something to take your mind off all of this." "I just need rest," Amanda replied softly. "I can't think of anything right now." As the weeks turned into months, Amanda slowly regained her strength. Her mother, sensing she needed purpose, encouraged her to reconnect with old friends. Amanda reached out to some of her former classmates and even found herself smiling again during their conversations. One day, while talking to her friend, the idea of working at a salon came up. "You've always been good with hair," her friend said. "Why not work at a salon? It might help you rebuild your confidence." Amanda thought about it and decided to give it a try. She applied for a position at a nearby salon and was quickly hired. Her days became filled with styling hairs and chatting with clients, and for the first time in a long while, she felt a sense of normalcy. One fateful day, Amanda was busy styling a client's hair when she overheard a conversation that froze her in place. A pregnant woman had entered the salon with her friend, laughing and chatting loudly. The woman's voice was familiar, and Amanda's heart sank when she realized it was Favor. "I can't believe how lucky I am," Favor said, her voice dripping with arrogance. "Collins just bought me a new car. He's the best husband in the world." Her friend laughed. "What about his first wife? Isn't she still in the picture?" Favor leaned in, lowered her voice, though not enough to escape Amanda's hearing. "She's long gone, and made sure of it. Do you know how many times I spiked her food to raise her blood pressure? That woman refused to die, but at least she's out of the way." Her friend gasped. "You're so mean." Favor shrugged. Survival of the fittest. She wasn't woman enough to give Collins what he needed, so she had to go. Amanda's hand trembled as she accidentally directed the blow dryer too close to her client's face, causing the woman to cry out. "Watch it," the client snapped, bringing Amanda back to the present. When Amanda looked up again, Favor was staring at her. Her expression shifted from surprise to disdain. "Oh, so this is where you've ended up," she sneered. "I always knew you were nothing but a church rat." Favor turned to her friend and said loudly, "Let's go. I can't risk staying here and letting someone this pathetic ruin my day." They left laughing, but Amanda wasn't focused on their insult. Her mind was racing with the revelation she had just heard. That evening, Amanda sat down with her parents and told them everything she had overheard. Her father's face darkened with anger, while her mother gasped in disbelief. "She did what?" Mrs. Eze exclaimed. "That woman is pure evil. You need to confront Collins," her father said. "He has a right to know what kind of a person he's married to." Amanda shook her head. "I don't want anything to do with him anymore. Let's deal with the consequences of his choices." Her parents were reluctant to agree, but they respected her decision. Amanda was determined to leave her past behind and focus on building a new life for herself. Not long after, Amanda heard the news that shocked her. Favor had died during childbirth, and the child had not survived. The news spread quickly, and the whispers of karma followed wherever Collins went. For weeks, he was inconsolable, but Amanda felt no sympathy. She saw it as God's justice. A few months later, Collins appeared at her parents' doorstep, begging for forgiveness. He looked disheveled, a shadow of the confident man he once was. "I made a mistake, Amanda," he said, tears streaming down his face. "Please come back, I need you." Amanda, who had reluctantly discovered she was pregnant, stood firm. "I prayed for this child, Collins," she said, "but I will not raise them in a home filled with deceit and wickedness. You made your choice, and now you must live with it." Collins left, but the story didn't end there. One day, a neighbor visited Amanda's family with shocking news. Collins has been acting erratically, running around his house and shouting about a master who demanded payment. The neighbors, curious and alarmed, had spoken to the gatekeepers, who revealed a chilling truth. Collins was a ritualist. According to the gatekeeper, Collins has been instructed to marry a chaste woman, impregnate her, and sacrifice both her and the child within 2 years of their marriage. Amanda's refusal to conceive in that time frame had derailed his plan. Desperate, he had to turn to favor, but her wickedness made her unsuitable for the ritual. The failed sacrifice had driven him mad, and shortly afterward, Collins was found dead in his home. Amanda's journey had been filled with heartbreak, betrayal she had never imagined she would face, but through it all, she had clung to her faith, trusting that God would guide her to a better future. Amanda remembered one evening as she prepared for bed, she felt a sharp pain in her abdomen, which she had ignored for weeks, intensified, leaving her breathless. Her parents rushed her to the hospital, fearing the worst. After a series of tests, the doctor returned with a surprise announcement. "Congratulations, Amanda," he said with a smile. "You're 8 months pregnant." Amanda was stunned. "Pregnant? How is that possible? I haven't felt any movement." "Some women experience pregnancies differently," the doctor exclaimed. "Given your recent stress, didn't show the usual sign. But your baby is healthy and you need to prepare for delivery soon." Amanda's parents were overjoyed. "This is a blessing from God," her mother exclaimed. "You see, my child." Amanda placed her hands on her belly, tears streaming down her face. For the first time, she felt hope and bloom in her heart. Amanda's pregnancy progressed quickly. A month later, she went into labor. The pain was intense, but Amanda focused on her prayer, asking God to give her strength. After hours of labor, she gave birth to a healthy baby boy. Holding her son for the first time, Amanda felt an overwhelming sense of gratitude. "Thank you, Lord," she whispered. "You've turned my sorrow into joy." Her parents, who had been by her side throughout the ordeal, wept tears of happiness. They named the child Chukwuebuka, meaning God is great, a testament to the miracle he represented. Life began to stabilize for Amanda. Caring for her son brought her a sense of purpose, and she poured all her love and energy into being the best mother she could be. Her salon job allowed her to provide for her child, and she found joy in the simple routines of everyday life. The news of Collins' death spread through the community, but Amanda chose not to dwell on it. She saw it as God's justice and focused on her future. The revelation of a sinister plan only deepened her resolve to trust in God's timing and guidance. Almost a year after Chukwuebuka's birth, Amanda met Andrew. He was a kind, God-fearing man who admired Amanda's resilience and strength. Andrew was patient and intentional in his pursuits, often visiting Amanda's parents to discuss his interest in her. At first, Amanda was hesitant. She had been deeply scarred by her previous marriage and feared opening her heart again, but Andrew's sincerity and gentleness gradually broke down her walls. He treated her with respect and showered her son with love, proving that he was committed to building a life with them. Andrew proposed to Amanda in a quiet, heartfelt moment at her parents' home. "I've known you to be true so much," he said, "but I promise to love you and your son with all my heart. Will you give me the honor of being your husband?" Tears filled Amanda's eyes as she nodded. "Yes," she said, "but only if God is the center of our home." Their wedding was a simple yet beautiful ceremony, attended by close friends and family. Andrew embraced Amanda's past, seeing her as a testament to God's grace and strength. Together, they built a home filled with love, peace, and faith. Amanda's story serves as a reminder that God's delays are not his denials. Sometimes unanswered prayers are his ways of protecting us from unseen dangers. Amanda learned that rushing into decisions, especially marriage, can lead to heartbreak, but trusting in God's plan brings healing and restoration. Her journey, though painful, was a testament to the power of faith and resilience and the unwavering love of God. I hope you enjoyed this one. Please don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel as it helps us grow. Like, comment, and I'll see you in my next story. Till then, bye. Thank you so much for watching till the end. Please click on the subscribe button to support us. Turn on the post notification to get notified when I upload a new story. Like, share, and comment your thoughts. Till then, bye.